Shalom, 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 shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises unto Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakwadash, giving double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone, shalom salutation. To all you sincere occupants across the four winds, pushing this truth and sincerity of heart. I'm your fellow servant, because I'm gone from a DC camp, coming at you through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakwadash, the feet of the elect. I was just going to make a quick lesson, quick video entitled, excuse me, World War III. How do we know that? How do we know that Media is Russia and Elam is Persia? Okay. As you know, we inch closer and closer to the Third World War, and in that Third World War, the major player on the war, it's going to be on the United States of America, which is known in the Bible as the Virgin Daughter of Babylon or Babylon, and of course, with NATO, which is also known as the Beast. And then on the other side, you're going to have Russia, Iran, and China, okay? Especially, Iran and Israel, those two nations are going to bump heads. And that's going to lead the United States and Russia to come in there and get it popping. And so, but, of course, when we say that, we got to be able to prove. The scripture said, prove all things. So we got to be able to prove that Elam is Iran, and then Media is Russia. Okay, so what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna go to Isaiah chapter 21. I'm gonna start at 1. It says, "The burden of the desert of the sea, as whirlwinds in the south pass through, so it cometh from the desert, from a terrible land." Verse 2. "A grievous vision is declared unto me. The treacherous dealer dealeth treacherously, and the spoiler spoileth. Go up, O Elam, besiege, O Media, all the sighting thereof have I made to cease." Right now, basically when you go into Isaiah the 21st chapter, it's going into the fact that back in ancient Babylon, ancient Babylon was taken down by the Medo-Persian Empire. Now, when you fast forward, of course, modern-day Babylon, being the United States, is gonna be taken down by Russia and Iran. But we always say that the modern-day Medes are the Russians, and the modern-day Elamites are the Persians. So we gotta be able to prove that, right? So first, let's deal with Elam, because remember right here it says Isaiah 21:2, it says Elam. It says, "Go up, O Elam, besiege, O Media." So the first thing we want to do is go to Wikipedia. So I went to Wikipedia, and you look up the Elamite language. Okay, it says Elamite is an extinct language that was spoken by the ancient Elamites. It was used in present-day southwestern Iran. You see that? It was used in present-day southwestern Iran from 2600 BC to 330 BC. The last written records in Elamite appear around the conquest of the Achaemenid Empire by Alexander the Great. All right, meaning the Elamites, Alexander the Great, when he took down Darius the Third of Persia, the language that was spoken was the Elamite language. Okay, and who is Elam? Elam is one of the sons of Shem. Okay, and it tells you that language was spoken by the people in the land of Iran. Okay, let's keep going. It says Elamite is generally thought to have no demonstrable relatives and is usually considered a language isolate. Okay, so let me see. Right down to as you see right here, right here it says as you see right here, that's the language. Okay, that's the Elamite language. All right, inscription. So it says the history of Elamite is periodized as follows: Old Elamite, circa 2600-1500 BC. Middle Elamite, 1500 to 1000 BC. Neo-Elamite, 1000 to 550 BC. And then Achaemenid Elamite, during the time of Darius III of Persia, it says 550 to 330 BC. Middle Elamite is considered the classical period of Elamite, but the best attested variety of Achaemenid Elamite, which was widely used by the Achaemenid Persian. There you go. Who are the Persians? All right, the nation known as Iran today, you know what I'm saying, was known as Persia. Before it was changed, the name was changed to Iran. It was always known as Persia. And it tells you right here that the Achaemenid Elamites, okay, was the Persians. The Achaemenid Elamite, that goes back to Darius, the Medo-Persian Empire, and Darius III, okay? It's the one who was taken down by Alexander the Great. It says, the Achaemenid Persian state for official inscription as well as administrative records and displays significant Old Persian influence. You see that? It says the Achaemenid Elamite. When you jump down, it says that what? Displays. It says the records and displays significant Old Persian influence. Documents from the Old Elamites and early Neo-Elamites stages are rather scarce. All right. So basically, that right there, that's one of the proof. You know, right there. I'm not gonna, make it too long. That's one of the proof right there, because remember, the language goes back to the culture. Okay. Just like us, we Israelites. You talking about Yasha Allah, Prince of the Power. We Israelites, and the language that we speak is the Hebrew. Okay. Going back to the word Ibar, it's a language. So when you're talking about Elamites, you're talking about Persians. Okay? So that's how you know, going back to Isaiah 21:2, that's how you know that Elam is talking about the modern day Iranians. Okay? And even when you go to the map, right? Just a little bit of geography, because you must have knowledge of geography. So you go into the ancient map. Look at the ancient map of Elam. The location of ancient Elam. When you look at the location of ancient Elam, what do you see right there? That red spot. That's when Elam started. But remember, ultimately, they grew as a nation, and it spread and became an empire. The Achaemenid Elamite, which is also known as the Achaemenid Persians, with the last remaining Achaemenid king, which was Darius III. That's when you see right here, Persians right underneath. And that land today is known today as Iran. Okay? And then now, the next phase that you see right there, just a little bit above, is the Medes. Okay? Because remember back then, it was called the Medo-Persian Empire. So now we know that Elam is, more proof that Elam is Persia or Iranians. Okay? So now let's deal with the Medes right quick. First, to show that the ancient Medes are the modern day Russians. Now, what we want to do is we want to go to Daniel's chapter 7, and I'm gonna start at 4. It says the first. I'm gonna start at 3. It says, and 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. All right, the first right there is talking about ancient Babylon. Okay, it says, I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth. Right, that's when the last king of ancient Babylon, I think it was Belshazzar, was taken. He was taken out. You know what I'm saying, by Cyrus the Mede. Okay. And it says, and it was lifted from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. Verse 5, and behold another beast. Now this will be going into it. And behold another beast, a second, like to a bear. Okay, Cyrus was a Mede. That's why it was called the Medo-Persian Empire. All right, it was a combination of the Medes and the Elamites, which were the Persians. Okay, so it says, and a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it, and they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh. Right, see, the Lord, when he gave the vision to Daniel described the Medes, right? Not the Persians, the Medes, as what? As a bear. Okay? He described the Medes as a bear, like a bear, and it raised up itself on one side. Why? Because you had the Medo-Persian Empire, okay, and it had 3 ribs. Now the 3 ribs is going into ancient Assyria and Babylon, Assyria, and Egypt, because those 2 empires were taken down during that particular time by the Medo-Persians. Okay, it says, and in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it, and they said thus into it, arise, devour much flesh. So now right there, the bear is talking about the Medes, beginning with Cyrus the Mede, who took down Belteshazzar of Babylon. Okay, so now that you know that, it's easy. Now you go to Revelation chapter 13, verse 2. It says, I'm gonna start at 1. It says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Now that beast right there is talking about the EU and NATO, okay, with the it's the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The EU and NATO. It says, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Okay, verse 2, it says, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. Now that right there is, John the Revelator is comparing, because remember he's seeing the modern day, just like things went down, because when things went down during the time of Daniel, back then when you had the leopard, it was clearly talking about Alexander the Great. Okay, when you read back to Daniel 7 and 5, but when you go to Revelation, it's moving forward. That bear right there is not talking about the ancient Medes. How do you know? Because the first verse right there it's already going down to the feet. When you look at that man in the statue in Daniel, the 2nd chapter, this is talking about the 10 toes, okay? And then it's talking about the kingdoms that's going to get into this Third World War. Those feet right there, right? The feet right there of a bear is talking about what? It's talking about the Russian bear. It's talking about Russia. All right, that's why I have this image right here. Okay, because Russia is always known as what? As a bear. And the reason why, how do you know that this is talking about Russia and it's not talking about the actual ancient Medes, is because it said his feet, right? The feet were as the feet of a bear. But when you go back to Daniel, when you go back to Daniel chapter 7, right? What are the feet? When you go back to Daniel chapter 7, verse 7, it says, and after this I saw in the night vision, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth, and devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it. You see that? So in Daniel, the feet of the beast is what? It's in the ancient Roman Empire, because in that particular time, it was going to end with the ancient Roman Empire dominating everybody. That's why the feet, because the feet is at the very bottom. And then it speaks about the 10 toes. But when you go to Revelation 13, it says that this beast, the feet, were of the feet of the bear, meaning what? The nation that's gonna win this war. Because this is an alignment of nation that's going to go to war. When the nation is going to win this war, quote unquote win this war, meaning who's going to be at the end of this thing, who's going to survive this Third World War, is what? It's the feet of a bear, which is the Russian bear. And the similarity goes back to what? To the ancient Medes. All right, Daniel's referred to the ancient Medes, right, as a bear. Daniel 7 and 5, and behold another beast, a second like to a bear, right? And now in Salakia, and now in Revelation 13, John referred to what? To that the feet of this beast as of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority, right? That lion right there is talking about Great Britain, okay? It's talking about Great Britain. Because the lion represents, Great Britain is represented by lion. America is represented by the eagle, right? And also the leopard also goes into that whole Edomite, Edomite spirit, going back to the ancient, Alexander the Great. You know what I'm saying? But in particular, what we want to focus on is the feet of a bear, which that's Russia right there. So that lets you know that when you go back to Isaiah chapter 21 and Isaiah chapter 21 and 2, and it says, a grievous vision is declared unto me, the treacherous dealer dealeth treacherously, and the spoiler spoileth. Go up, O Elam. Already proved that Elam is Iran, okay? And because the language of the Persians, and Darius and so on and so forth, was actually called the Elamite language, going back to their actual father, Elam, one of the sons of Shem. Okay, and it says, "Oh, Media." Now, the ancient Medes were Japhites, but they were looked at as bears. But the modern day bear is who? It's Russia. Now, the Russians are Edomites. That's the only thing that switched up. The Russians are Edomites. They're not Japhites. Okay, but that's how the Lord has set it up through the Spirit. So let me now conclude this with This is Revelation chapter 9, verse 2. It says, one war is past, meaning the First World War, and behold, there come 2 wars more after. Meaning after the First World War, it's supposed to 2 more world wars are supposed to come after. Okay? Similar with this scripture right here. This is Revelation 11:14. The second war was past, and behold, the third war cometh quickly. Alright, so in this third war's war, you're gonna have these nations. Elam is Iran, and the modern day Medes is Russia. Okay? Hopefully you brothers was edified by this video. Kyle Halayim La Yahweh Shemel Shah, double honors to our apostles and elders of great millstone. Shalom salutation. To you sincere Akim, cause of 4 winds. Stay strong, stay faithful. Yahweh Shem Shabbat Dam, Ba'Shem HaKodash. Shalom.